Wife threatened divorce, so I accepted her challenge. My wife and I have been together for 7 years, married for 6. We have 2 great kids. I'm the primary breadwinner of the house. My wife decided to stay home with the kids, and I've always been okay with that. But for the past 2 years, our marriage has been falling apart. We fight all the time, about anything and everything. Just to be clear, I try my best to be there for our kids. I help around the house, cook, and spend time with them whenever I'm home. A few months ago, things got really bad. My wife's sister was going through a tough time and needed a place to crash. I said it was fine, but I was worried. A while back, my wife's friend had stayed with us for 5 weeks without even asking, and she didn't help out at all. It felt like a slap in the face. Even though I wasn't thrilled about it, my wife's sister came to stay. She was amazing, helping with the kids, cooking, and cleaning. But even with her good vibes, the tension between my wife and me just got worse. I thought we'd gotten over that, but the fighting didn't stop. It's usually over dumb stuff, and it feels like my wife is always starting it. I've suggested counseling a bunch of times, but she always says no. Last night, it all exploded. She said I'm a bad dad and that I'm never home. She said she feels like I've left her and ended it by saying she wants a divorce. I just snapped. I told her the truth, that I work my butt off to give our family everything she wants. I reminded her that I'm always there for the big moments, for every doctor's visit, every school thing. I told her I can't take the fighting anymore and that she needs to get help. In the heat of the moment, I said I wanted a divorce too. I packed up the kids' stuff and went to my sister's. It's been 2 days, and my wife won't stop calling and texting. She's saying she's sorry, that she didn't mean it, that she wants to go to therapy, that she needs me. I love her, and she's a good mom, but I honestly don't know if I can do this anymore. After leaving the kids at my sister's, I had a lot of time to think. My sister told me to sit down with my wife and have a real heart-to-heart about what was going on with us. Even though things were rough, I knew she was right. We couldn't keep going like this, especially with the kids caught in the middle. I sucked it up and called my wife, asking if we could talk. She said yes, and we met at a coffee shop near our house. She looked worn down, like all the fighting had really affected her too. We started with small talk, but I got right to the point. I can't do this anymore, I said. The fighting, the divorce talk, it's tearing us apart. It's affecting the kids, and it's not fair to any of us. She nodded, tears in her eyes. I know. I don't want this either. I just feel so alone and overwhelmed. You're always gone for work, and it feels like it's all on me. I get it, I said, but you have to understand that I'm working hard to provide for us. It's not like I enjoy being away from home all the time. I've brought up counseling before, but you always shut me down. She wiped her eyes and took a deep breath. I was scared. I didn't want to admit that something was wrong, but I see now that we can't fix this ourselves. I want to try therapy. I want to save our marriage. We decided to give it another shot. We found a couples therapist and started going every week. The first few sessions were tough. We confronted a lot of old baggage and hurt feelings that had been building up for years. But slowly, we started to understand each other. My wife started looking for part-time jobs and landed one at a local bookstore. She loved it. It gave her something to do and let her talk to people outside of our home. She even started painting again, something she'd always wanted to do. I rearranged my work schedule so I could be home more and be around for the kids more often. We started having family game nights and movie marathons on the weekends. For a while, things were looking up. We communicated more, spent more time together as a family, and fought way less. I started to feel good about our future again. But then, one night, we fought about our weekend plans. My wife had made plans with her new work friends from the bookstore and forgot about a family outing we had planned weeks ago. I tried to be cool about it, but it felt like a major setback. At the end of the fight, as I was leaving the room, she mumbled, "I knew marrying you was a mistake." Her words hit me like a ton of bricks. I turned back to her, feeling mad and hurt. "What did you just say?" She looked at me with cold, empty eyes. "I should have divorced you years ago." I walked away, the sting of her words burning in my ears. I took our son and daughter to the zoo, just the 3 of us. The next day, I filed for legal separation. The rules were clear. No dating other people, separate money, and a temporary custody arrangement where I had the kids most of the time. I moved out and got a small apartment, focusing all my energy on being there for my kids. During the separation, things only got worse. My wife pulled away even more, and it was hard to talk to her. I tried to stick to the custody agreement, but she often made it difficult. One afternoon, as I was dropping the kids off at her house, I noticed a strange car in the driveway. I cautiously walked up to the door and rang the bell. A man I'd never seen before, shirtless, answered the door. He called for my wife, and she came around the corner in a robe, looking shocked and guilty. My heart sank. In that moment, I knew it was really over. As the separation period ended, I knew what I had to do. I filed for divorce. My children were my top priority, and I was determined to give them a stable and loving home, unlike the chaotic one I had grown up with. Despite the pain and betrayal, I knew in my heart that this was the best decision for all of us.